All right, we'll do EWU. I think this is about the Ruby Frank situation, but whenever it was going on, I didn't really like watch all of it or like understand what everything was going on about. So I think this is like gonna be everything. So I kind of wanted to watch this. Some people might already know about some of this stuff, but it's EWU, so potentially there's like stuff that we haven't seen before.
I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
Ring, ring, ring.
Whoa! Wait a minute, how do you come to my house?
And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things.
The lives of family lifestyle influencers Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke imploded on August 30th, 2023, when one of Ruby's 6 children was discovered weak and hurt. The other 5 had not been accounted for at this time, and law enforcement wasted no time in launching a full investigation. As the police delved into the twisted dynamic that had grown between the 2 women, they never could have anticipated the depths of the depravity the children were subjected to, or the mind-boggling justifications offered by the perpetrators.
Always the damn influencers. Yeah, if you guys haven't heard of this, you're in for a ride.
My family.
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it.
The following report is based on police records. When Dan Clarkson answered his doorbell at 10:46 a.m. on August 30th, 2023, he never could have expected his actions would kickstart a nationally publicized police investigation. However, as soon as he laid eyes on the young boy outside, he immediately knew something was very, very wrong. His Ring camera captured the heartbreaking conversation that ensued.
I was like, dude, that's so scary to think about. Like, what if the kid actually just walked away and this dude never opened the door? Because this kid was walking away.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
Well, what are they?
Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
What's going on, son? Have a seat there.
It's personal business.
This was actually the second neighbor the boy had attempted to contact. At the first house, there was no answer, so he'd been forced to move on. The
Good. At least he was trying multiple.
disturbing reason he was seeking help came out when Dan made this emotional call to 911.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. Said he had just came from a neighbor's house. He's hungry and he's thirsty.
While Dan was on the phone with the 911, his wife gave the boy, who introduced himself as Russell, snacks to eat while waiting for help to arrive. But shockingly, there was something more appalling about the boy's condition than his extreme malnutrition.
He has duct tape around his
injuries. There's sores
Oh
around
my
him.
God.
Yeah, there's sores around him. I think there's a good chance he's been...
He also has
and he has been around his
wrist
ankle.
as well.
I mean, his wrist as well. Okay, this boy has been...
Needs immediate attention.
And yet the most heartbreaking revelations were yet to come.
Okay, this boy has been...
Needs immediate
This kid has obviously been... I think he's been...
Oh my God.
He's been detained. He's obviously covered in wounds. He says what's happened to him is his fault.
We need the police.
Oh, the fuck, dude, it's so goddamn depressing because the kids, they're brainwashed and then they all think it's their fault, dude.
The police and an ambulance were already on the way. During the tense waiting period, Russell revealed that he'd been staying with his mother and her friend, Jodi Hildebrandt, since May. Terrifyingly, he added that he wasn't the only child in Jodi's house. His 2 sisters, ages 9 and 14, were still inside.
I'll take more.
As Russell underwent medical assessment, more police officers arrived.
We need to identify that house. And if there's 2 other kids there, we need to go do a security sweep of that house and help them.
They were about to realize that they'd gotten there in the nick of time. As the police staged in Dan's driveway, a woman drove up in her car and announced that she was searching for a 12-year-old boy. She gave her name as none other than Jodi Hildebrandt, the woman Russell said his family had been staying with. Cleverly, the police didn't tell Jodi how much they already knew. They just took down her address and said they would come to speak with her shortly. She didn't have to wait long.
Oh, wait, the 8-child family channel thing? Yeah, this is the family channel thing. Yeah. It's not like whatever it was, Daddy05 or whatever that one crazy one was, but yeah, it was a YouTube channel.
Ring, ring, ring.
God, look at their fucking house too. It's fucking loaded, dude. Look at that door. My God.
Police officers, open up!
Why are we watching this again? We're not watching this again. This is EWU. It's probably going to show shit that I haven't seen and a lot of other people haven't seen. Because I've only seen like bits and pieces. I've seen this part and like them going through the house a little bit, but I haven't seen everything.
Got movement right here. Right there. Contact. Got movement. Open the door! Jodi, I need you to step out.
I have my turn.
That's great. Step out of the house.
Shut up, Jodi.
Step out of the house. Step out of the house.
Whoa.
We're just gonna
Shut up, stupid bitch!
Wait a minute, how do you come in my house?
right there.
Look, they come into my house. Do you have a
It's
search
like, what even is this house? It's like a fucking mall as a house.
warrant?
We'll explain it after this.
You can't just come into my house without a search warrant.
Jodi was mistaken about the need for a warrant to enter the home because the police already had probable
Yeah,
cause
they
due
have
to a
very
911 call
probable
that the neighbors
cause.
had placed after Russell showed up at their door. There was a clear emergent need to enter, and a warrant wasn't
They walked in, that's how they came in. Yeah, woman discovers that cops have legs.
necessary. The police must account for the welfare of the other two children. They certainly had their work cut out for them, though, because the house was massive. During the search, the police found one room that appeared to be set up for filming. This, they would learn, was because Jodi and Ruby both had a significant online presence. More details would emerge throughout the investigation, revealing the dark side of these social media influencers.
I was going to say it now. Anyone who does family channels are fucking disgusting creatures and shouldn't have children.
Ensure that they left no corner unchecked.
Just
The
saying.
investigators retrieved the blueprints of the
I
house.
thought I showed you this. Okay. Should I just stop watching this, guys? Should I stop watching this? Like, I'm just assuming there's probably new stuff that I haven't seen on this video. Because I've had so many people complain about how we've already watched this.
This turned out to be a brilliant idea, as the schematics revealed something that might have been overlooked otherwise. Outside, Jodi did not appear to be shy about expressing her displeasure at the intrusion.
I have Airbnb guests over there. Probably scared them to death.
Okay. Is there anybody else in the house?
Yes,
2 kids?
there's a little girl.
Just one?
She's right over here.
Okay.
The Airbnb guests were the least of the police's worries right now. Following Jodi's instructions, they made their way down the hall to a bathroom with a large closet. What they found inside was devastating.
I'm a police officer. Are you going for the union here? Hey, you okay?
Oh, I've
Is this
seen
just you in here?
I've seen her, yeah.
I'm Sergeant Tobler. What's your name? I just have one. Where's your sister at? Contact one. You okay? Huh? You doing okay? You don't want to talk to me? Yeah, that's okay. Can you come with me though? We got Jodi out here. You know Jodi?
According to the information Jodi gave, this was Russell's 9-year-old sister Eve.
We want to be best buddies, but we're getting a little mad here because he won't give me his shoes. Guess what? I learned how to ride a bike with no training wheels. Come here, I'll show you.
Despite the officer's gentle approach, she sat eerily still and quiet, hardly giving a sign that she could even hear him.
You take your time, bud. I'm in no hurry. I'm a police officer. Did you know that? I don't mean to hurt you at all. You doing okay? Are you scared?
Just so sad because I know these kids think that like they deserve what's happening to them. Because I feel like, I mean, that's just what happens to kids in general. Whenever they're like, you know, egregiously punished for things that they don't deserve. They just believe that's just how it's supposed to happen until they get older and realize that that's not how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah. You're okay. Do you need help? I'm not gonna hurt you. Promise. See this right here? It's a badge. It tells me I don't hurt people. I'm just here to make sure you're okay.
I would make a comment, but in light of the situation, I won't make a comment about what he said. Thank you, Lizard Boy.
I get if you're scared. I would be too. Okay? You wanna come with me?
Still, Eve didn't respond. They hatched a new plan to win her over with pizza. While they waited for the food to arrive, the officers kept her company with the utmost patience, refusing to rush her out of the closet until she made the choice to leave.
101 to do so. Sit down.
It's okay if I just sit here with you. We don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Yeah, the cops did handle this really well. Yeah.
I'll just sit here with you.
Meanwhile, back with Russell, the EMTs got a close-up look at the duct tape and wounds around his ankles. What they found was almost unspeakably gruesome. But even this was overshadowed by what Russell said next. In between bites of the snacks from the neighbors, he told the police officer documenting his injuries additional details, which made the situation all the more sickening.
You're not in trouble with me, okay? We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Our main focus right now is you, okay? Who put the ropes on you? Supposed to help you what?
The police report revealed the chilling answers that were redacted in the body cam footage. Russell said that Jodi and his mother, Ruby Frankie, had restrained him with ropes to help him with what he'd been choosing. How the women had chosen to treat the resulting wounds left EMTs puzzled. The officer who spoke with Russell repeated the distressing details to his supervisor on the phone.
They're probably going to think they're going to get in trouble if they talk. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like every one of those kids, they probably told them not to talk to the cops, and they probably obviously told them that you're not you're in trouble and everything that's happening is your fault. Cayenne pepper
mixed with honey, and then covered that with the plastic saran wrap and then the duct tape over the wound.
Oh my God! What? I did not know about that part. Oh my God, dude! How do you even come up with that? Like, how do you even come up with that?
Detectives had found evidence of the honey and cayenne mixture in the upstairs bathroom, along with more ropes, used bandages, and other wound dressings.
A medical got there, they started cutting the stuff off him, and then you can see like the dark around his ankles.
God damn.
You could smell it.
Yeah, that's gotta basically it's almost like an acid effect where it's gonna just eat at his skin.
They went to go peel it. They thought it was some of the dressing. It was actually his skin that was peeling.
Obviously, the police wanted to talk to Russell's mother to understand what could possess someone to treat a child in such a manner.
God.
As of yet, though, Ruby...
Why? Oh, my God.
Frankie, along with Russell's older sister, were still unaccounted for. Jodi certainly wasn't sharing where Ruby was, as her behavior became increasingly strange as the house search continued. When this officer seemed unreceptive to her stare, she tried a different target.
You waiting for me to say something, or? Okay.
Inside, the search went on for more children, especially Julie, the older sister Russell said was at Jodi's house. There was no sign of her yet, so the police decided it was time to confront Jodi about what they'd found when referencing the blueprints. A safe room in the basement, locked with a vault door.
I have a question for you. Yeah. You have a room downstairs that has a safe wheel on the front. Mm-hmm. How do we get access to that to ensure that there's no one else in this home?
Adam. They do need to search that there's nobody else, so I think you can give them access to make sure there's nobody in there.
After further back and forth to get the lock combination from Jodi, a team returned to the basement to open the safe. Upstairs, additional officers were still trying to...
That's not a safe to store shit. That's a safe for a goddamn prison.
...gain the trust of the little girl in the bathroom closet.
Found dead skin.
She found dead skin.
Dead skin.
Get out from underneath my bed. Right now.
Sorry, Mom.
I am more upset that you came in my room when you knew you weren't supposed to. You knew that it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You're still going to have the consequence of not having your nails done for a month.
Mom.
It's a deal. Give me a
Yeah, I don't think that's the consequence she got, chat.
Mom, can I help you two to get paid? Because I want a lot of money.
You.
They likely hoped that the arrival of the pizza would change things in their favor, but they were in for yet another surprise.
I've actually never seen like any footage of like their actual videos or anything.
There we go.
Despite how painfully thin she appeared, Eve didn't go for the food right away.
So she thinks she's not allowed. God, poor girl. It's probably the first
Eve
time
proceeded
she's
to eat the entire pizza
had like good food in who knows how long.
and requested 2 more large slices from the lunch that the police had. As Eve ate, the plan was to focus on opening the safe, but suddenly a new priority emerged. With no warning, Ruby Franke, Russell and Eve's mother, arrived on scene. After determining that she had no weapons on her, she was taken to a separate area of the house to wait out the search. The police would check in with Ruby once they finished going through the house. The only place left to look was the basement safe room. When they opened the door, though, they were likely crushed. Julie was not inside. At first glance, the room looked to be nothing
Dude, it's
more
a fucking room with a toilet, bro.
than a barren bolt hole reserved for emergencies. When they started opening drawers, though, they turned up some stomach-churning evidence. Handcuffs, a length of rope, and a carabiner. Based on the condition of Russell and Eve, the police received an official search warrant that enabled them to collect these items, along with many of the electronics, as evidence. But even after being in the house for hours, there was still no sign of Julie or the other Franke siblings. The only certain thing was what should happen with Jodi and Ruby. They were both placed under arrest for aggravated child abuse.
Okay, just place your hand on your back for me. Perfect.
During the arrest process, the officers likely noticed some strange behavior from Ruby. She didn't say a single word, even when put in the back of a police car with Jodi. The police had to hope she would be more verbose when the time came to ask her how Russell and Eve had gotten in such miserable conditions.
Sure, go ahead and have a seat. She is definitely not a talker.
Thank you so much, Lady Rage.
Even if I ask her a name or just like, let me ask about things, she looks at me and goes.
While Jodi was at least responding to direct questions, whether she would respond to the hard ones police had in store was
hung upside down and kneel hauled on the Titanic. Yeah. Waterboarding, maybe? Maybe they, you know what? Let's do the honey and cayenne pepper thing. You know, let's just wrap their arms and legs in honey and cayenne pepper. Have them deal with it, you know?
It's yet to be seen.
I'm a little nervous.
Have them feel it.
You're that, you know, to be honest with you, if I was sitting over there, I'd be a little nervous too. So don't worry about it. We're just here to talk, to get your side.
So I trust my attorney. He said, don't say anything. And I said, I have nothing to hide. And he's like, I know that, but just let me be there with you when you talk.
Oh, you don't?
So you guys seem nice people. I'd like to just tell you, but I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're going to flip my word. I'm a psychologist. I've watched people flip things all the time.
You mean you? You mean you? How you manipulate your children?
So I get it. I sit on your side. I get it. It looks sad that I don't want to answer anything, but it's not because I'm trying to be difficult.
Even though Jodi refused to talk without a lawyer, trying to get information from Ruby was,
for not talking, she was yapping a lot,
astronomically more difficult.
We're just here to talk to you about kind of a few things involving your kids.
She manipulated married couples. Oh, I'm sure. Wait, yeah, it'll probably explain it. But yeah, didn't she do other shit to people, like make people believe other shit?
So first, do you live down here?
Yeah, I know Jodi's not the mom, but she still manipulated them 100%.
Or do you live up north?
Psycho. Actual psycho. What is that
Do you
blinking?
want to talk to me about where you live or how many kids you have?
What is that blinking? She's not even like blinking. She's just, it's like slow blinking with her eyes like, the fuck?
You don't want to talk to us about anything?
Psycho.
So yeah, this is just your chance to tell us. We're just trying to get your side of the story. So it's your chance to do that. But it's up to you.
Yeah, but she's kind of hot. All right, you're getting timed out for saying that shit. Disgusting.
I'll wait till I have a lawyer.
Okay. So it's not this at all.
There was hardly any doubt that the two women
You know what? Yeah, let's do a ban for that shit, actually.
had done horrible things to Ruby's children. But with both women unwilling to talk,
Oh, wait.
the police...
Oops. Wrong person. I think I banned Trithemius Finnegan. I think I unbanned them. I unbanned them, though. Sorry.
Police still
The
had
chat moved when I tried to do it.
no idea why. Answers, though, were closer than anyone thought. When the detectives first got to the police station, they found a surprise visitor waiting. Ruby's husband, Kevin Frankie, was there, and he wanted
I got no idea about this guy. I've never heard anything about this dude.
to pick up his kids. With so many burning questions pertaining to the Frankie family, Kevin was detained and taken to a third interrogation room where he was read his rights.
How did you find out that you needed to come here to the street?
I received a message that I needed to come pick up my kids from the police department in Highlands.
And who was that message from?
If this guy is going to start acting like he had nothing to do with this and he had no idea, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
I prefer not to say right now.
Does it make sense that that would happen? I'm just not aware of anyone who did that from our department.
Right. And I'm not comfortable saying right now who reached out to me.
Okay.
Was that Jodi?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Kevin was keeping quite close-lipped. However, it wasn't all bad news. Back at Jodi's house, Eve finally seemed to be warming up to law enforcement.
You don't want to talk? Okay. There's nothing at all you want to talk about at all? It's okay to talk to me. Are you scared? We helped your brother, and we got him some help too. And that's what we want to do for you. If we want to get you some help too. We are safe. We will not hurt you, and we won't do anything to hurt you.
It took a total of 4 hours before Eve was willing to leave the closet with medical personnel. When examining her in the ambulance, EMTs discovered that she had wounds on her feet and decided that she and Russell both needed to go to the hospital. Thankfully, as Kevin's conversation with police continued, he was willing to provide some crucial context.
And how many kids do you have, Kevin?
I have 6 kids.
So are they all living with you, or?
No, I haven't seen them for over a year.
Any of them?
No, none of them.
For a year?
Over a year.
Okay.
I've been in a separation.
From who?
From my wife and family. Ruby invited me to leave the home.
Mm-hmm.
While
Invited you to leave the home?
I
weird way to word that.
thought about the choices that I've made in my life and the way that I've treated her.
And did you ever try to reach out to the kids, drop by the home, or was
Great dad. Good job, Dad.
I honored the no separation boundary that we agreed to.
When was the last time you saw Ruby?
The last time
That's just another way of saying, thank God I don't have to deal with those kids anymore.
saw her,
If you're a dad who loves your kids and wants to see your kids, you're not going to agree to just never see your kids again. Doesn't matter how much you fucking hate your ex-wife.
Yeah.
was the 18th of this month. We met she requested me to sign over vehicles, or the titles to the vehicles. The vehicle that she drives were all in my name.
When's the last time you physically saw Russell or Eve?
The day that I moved out, July 24th, 2022. So my job is to financially provide for them.
I was trying to figure out like how much of a role do you play in the caretaking of...
Bro, what job do you have where you can afford a mansion like that? And then you can just like, or is that what's her fucking name? Rudy Giuliani's house.
Specifically of those 2 kids.
Thank you, Shadow, for 18 months.
I paid the bills.
Been with me since you were 15. I hope you're not going to say you're like 22 or something like that. I'm not that old.
With my job, I provide the money, goes into a shared bank account, and that's my only involvement.
As the conversation went on, Kevin seemed to be just as...
Actually, I am 22. Bro, stop fucking lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. You're fucking lying, dude.
in the dark as the investigators.
Who lives in that home with your Is it ex-wife? Is it currently a separated wife? Like, who lives in that home with your children?
To be honest, I don't know.
The person just fucking did the pointing finger and then old in all caps. Thank you, Spicy.
I know that she's there with 4 of the children, and our 2 older children have moved out.
This likely came as a shock to investigators. If there were 4 Frankie children still living at home, that meant they weren't just missing Julie, but another one of Russell's teenage sisters, Abby. Before launching into a frantic search, the detective...
I don't get it. Let's say, I mean, obviously, no matter what, like, they're going to look bad. But I'm just saying, like, let's say that they're trying to act like they actually care for their kids. Why would they just, like, completely shut their mouth on the location of their children? It just makes them look, I mean, they're obviously guilty no matter what, but it just makes them look even worse.
Detectives decided to finish talking to Kevin.
None of these parents look like they care for their children whatsoever in the slightest. Like, how do they think that they're going to make this like, oh, I'm innocent? Like, they're fucking terrible, dude.
Hoping he could give them an idea of where to look for the girls. As the conversation went on, though, Kevin's story only got stranger.
Who's this female Jodi that your wife lives with? Do you know a female named Jodi?
She is a therapist and a life coach, I know. And she's...
Do you respect her?
Do I respect her? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she's a very honest, truthful person, yes.
Okay. Is your wife a partner of hers? Is your wife a roommate with her? Your kids are living in her house is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not aware of that, but I know that they've been in.
So is Jodi, Rudy Giuliani, is she like the quote unquote mastermind who like brainwashed everyone and tricked the mom into believing like her kids are fucking evil or some shit like that? I mean, it could be a mix of everything, but or mix of both sides, but she planted the seed. Yeah.
Business for the last year filming.
Giuliani's in contempt of court right now. Yeah, she's right here. She's gonna that Giuliani. Yeah, I don't know much about the Giuliani lore.
Every week a podcast goes up and I listen to it.
New Giuliani lore just dropped.
Connections with an X.
This would explain the film set discovered in Jodi's house. As it turned out, Jodi and Ruby both had a significant following on Instagram and YouTube. Jodi was a therapist, and her accounts focused on counseling and family dynamics in alignment with the Church of Latter-day Saints, of which she and Ruby were both members. She called her program Connections and had written several books sharing her methods, and even taught online Zoom classes on the topics of family health and harmony. Ruby,
what do those books say?
Both members, and had written several books sharing her methods, and even taught
safety, trust, and empowerment, codependency and caretaking, perceptions, motives, and Adidas, healthy sexuality and connection.
Online Zoom classes on the topics of family health and harmony. Ruby, meanwhile, created more slice of life content, cataloging daily life with her family as members of the Mormon faith. Her main platform was a YouTube account titled 8 Passengers, supplemented with an Instagram under the same name. In due time, the police...
her husband was a part of the YouTube channel, but he got kicked out?
...would learn that the content made by Ruby and Jodi had become unimaginably twisted behind the scenes.
Are you involved with their business efforts, or no?
And were you involved in the 8 Passengers account with your family?
Yes. I was in the videos.
Recently, Ruby's online presence had undergone a shift. She rebranded to Truth Mom, but began focusing less on her own channel in favor of working with
Moms of Truth. Rid your relationships of transactions, manipulation, and deceptive motives. Okay, little bit of a irony there. My motive is my purpose for doing something either in truth or distortion. My motive, my choice are always created by me.
With Jodi,
trust is not given, it is earned. Trust is granted after consistency. Bro, did you just like fucking look up generic quotes?
On Connection.
Like, these are the most generic quotes I've ever seen in my life.
You guys got a lot of heat for neglect and child abuse. A lot of people commented those things on there.
Yeah, it's like live, laugh,
Why
love.
were they commenting those things?
That's a good question. We had a son who was acting out in very selfish behavior.
Being a child.
Is this Chad or
Yes, this was Chad. And none of this is strange or odd. You could get on YouTube and find out all sorts of stuff on this.
Eventually, Ruby stopped posting on her private YouTube account altogether, which Kevin said eliminated 90% of the family's income. Her last video on Jodi's channel, though, had come out.
Yo, how does Jodi make that much money then? If the family's only getting like 10,000 subscribers and what the fuck? How much money does Jodi make, bro?
Out just 2 days ago. In the interrogation room, Kevin shared more about the situation, which led to public outcry against the Frankies.
He was being very cruel and mean to his siblings that he shared a room with. And so we removed him from the room. And we said, you can sleep anywhere you want. Sleep on the couch, sleep on the pull-out bed, sleep on the floor for all we care, but you're not sleeping in that room with your brother. He chose to sleep on a beanbag. So 9 months later, he had made a lot of changes in his life. And he was ready to, and we had moved by that time. And so we had a new house, and he was ready to move into his own bedroom. Made a video about it. And in the video, he mentioned something to the effect of, I've been sleeping for 9 months on a beanbag. And that is what all the uproar was about.
Oh, so you're lying. Oh, so you're lying. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think any kid would choose to sleep on a beanbag over a bed for 9 months. Sorry, buddy. I don't think that's gonna happen.
This wasn't Ruby's only run-in with the law. Shockingly, just 5 days before her arrest, she'd been pulled over while driving with her kids in the car.
Hello. You know how fast you're going right there? No. Okay. Got you going 57 and a 35.
Ruby was sent on her way with only a speeding ticket. Back with Kevin, he explained that the situation with his oldest son, Chad, was the catalyst for Jodi getting involved with the family. She was hired as Chad's therapist and had the boy personally paying her $900 a month. From there, her—
What the fuck? God, $900 a month? Jesus. Okay, now I know why she's rich. Oh my God.
Her involvement with the family only grew. How this could have led to the breakup of the family and the near starvation of 2 of the children was yet to be explored.
During your marriage, how was disciplining your kids? How would you discipline your kids?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question.
Oh, of course.
Are you aware of the physical condition of your children?
No. I've chosen to trust my wife with the children.
No, actually, you chose to run away from your children and abandon your children, actually. That's what you did.
That was part of the agreement of our separation.
Kevin was about to learn the harrowing consequences this decision has caused.
We received a phone call from 911 on our dispatch.
Dads who run away are scum. Now, if it's like a legal situation, that's different. But if you run away by your own choice, scum.
12 to 13-year-old boy was knocking on doors in a neighborhood asking for food and water. So he had—
I'm sorry, what?
He had duct tape on his extremities, on his hands, on his ankles, and those were covering rope burns that were used to tie him down.
He wasn't charged with anything? Wonderful.
Take a second and think about what I just said. That's the condition of your son.
He looks really shocked.
Given that information, your son was taken to the hospital. A warrant has been applied and granted by the Department of Child and Family Services to remove both Russell and Eve from your wife's care. Do you understand?
What if he was scared of her? Maybe she has something on him or brainwashed him to believe he is useless and staying might harm the kids more. Bro, that's just, stop trying to cope for him. If you love your kids, it doesn't fucking matter. If you love your kids and want to be a part of your child's life, you would do anything to help your children or be a part of your children's lives. No fucking excuse. Zero excuse. There is literally zero excuse for that.
Understand that.
I understand.
Would you condone that behavior?
Would I condone that behavior?
That's my job. My job is to find out your knowledge of the treatment of these
based
precious
on your description,
children.
No. But again, I don't know the details or I don't know what's going on, but as you described that sounds
horrible, disgusting. No human being should be treated like that.
The investigators stepped out to give Kevin
he sounds so devastated.
few private moments to come to terms with what he'd just learned. When the investigative team returned 10 minutes later, Kevin took the opportunity to ask a burning question.
what's going to happen with my wife. I love my wife.
Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Are you kidding me? Not where's my kids? What's gonna happen to my kids? No, what's gonna happen to my wife? Bro, get out. Get the fuck out. Get out of here. Go jump in a lake and not swim. Just go out in the middle of the fucking ocean, drop them off, and just drive away. What the fuck are you talking about? Your wife, bro. Your wife? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, that literally just proves that he knows that his wife did it and he knows exactly what's going on. If that's the question that he asks, he knows 100%.
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I don't know. Haven't had an interview with
I don't have charges against my wife.
He's crying for his wife. He's not crying for his kids. Fuck you, dude. You should get just as much prison time.
That's highly appropriate, but again,
That night, the police decided that Ruby would be booked into jail to await her attorney. Even this, though, failed to get a reaction from her.
Makes you want to let you know what criminal charges for, so you're under arrest. It's going to be 2 counts, second-degree felony of child abuse or neglect, okay? Do you understand that or no? Are you okay? I'm wondering if there's like a medical clearance that needs to, like, do you need medical attention before you go to the jail? Okay. Have you ever been arrested before?
Who's got the whistly nose?
I'm just concerned about you.
Don't be.
I know you don't believe that. But I've had an opportunity to talk to your husband and kind of worried about your circumstances and obviously your children as well. But you're sure you don't need medical attention or anything like that?
Just punch her. You know?
Jodi, too, was escorted to a police car to be transported to jail facing the same charges. Still inside the police station, Kevin learns more from the investigators about the children.
And so, I mean, this feels like getting run over by a steam truck while you're sharing with me today.
Yeah. I can tell you're caught off guard.
He
I
looks
thought
so
I was just coming
upset.
here to pick up my kids, and for what, I don't know what or why, but and I was planning on taking them back with me. Everything you're sharing to me just sounds like a made-up story.
Bro, you're so fucking terrible. Yeah, everything you said is just sounds like a magical, mystical story. It doesn't seem real to me. Like, what? You think you're on fucking Broadway or something, dude? Like, what is this acting? What is this fucking acting, bro? It's embarrassing. Cinema.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it sounds like a horror movie.
Because it is.
And what you're sharing with me just feels like a sucker punch. I feel
Dude, man, your analogies are top tier with this, man. Wow, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. It feels like someone sucker punched me. Ugh. Ooh. Oh, this sucks, man.
responsible, separating, leaving. It hurts. I know you're all doing your jobs. And I know you all have the best interests of my kids at mind. I appreciate them.
Yeah, but you don't
That
have
means a
any
lot.
concern for your own children. You're not showing any concern for your
I just
children.
want my kids back. I want my family back. I want my wife back.
It was doubtful either Ruby or Jodi would be getting out of jail anytime soon.
Good.
Jodi grappled with this through the lens of religion while speaking with a friend she called from the county jail.
And I don't know if I'm going to be like some kind of example, but when I get out of here, I have a story to tell. And
when I get out of here, yeah, when
I'm going to try to do everything I can to protect the children, because that's what's happening, is that kids are being just horribly abused.
Yeah, by you.
So I have just been begging him, like, you've got to explain this to me. Like, I cannot logically figure out what's going on here. I mean, I should be here. I haven't done anything wrong.
Ruby, too, made some
the absolute cope
equally baffling claims during her jailhouse phone calls.
But the most upsetting thing is that I am completely misunderstood.
Okay.
That is the most horrible feeling. Like, my own family misunderstands me. They misinterpret me. And poor Jodi, they misinterpret her. They misunderstand her. She puts her neck out on the line for people, and then they get mad at her. I mean, it is just horrendous. It's horrendous. And you know what? Every Joseph Smith, every wonderful man of God has had to be misunderstood. And I'm a good woman. I don't do naughty things. This is the witch hunt.
It wasn't all dark and twisted news.
What is that? What are those words? Like, she's just, the way she's speaking is just so, I don't do naughty things. This is a witch hunt. Like, what?
Though, in a stroke of luck, the police located Julie and Abby.
This is the 1800s?
Shockingly, they were nowhere near the family home in Springville.
1600s?
Rather, they were located more than 20 miles away at a house belonging to Ruby's friend and fellow Connections member, Pam. How she'd gotten there, though, remained in question. Pam was handcuffed when the police arrived and agreed to answer some questions while waiting for additional investigators to arrive. While one officer sat with her, the other took the opportunity to check in with Julie.
Do you need medical attention at all? Okay. Is there a reason you're so scared right now? It's us? Okay. Well, I'm sorry if you've had a negative interaction with law enforcement in the past, okay? My intention is not to scare you. Do you go to school?
Down the driveway, Pam was unhandcuffed when investigators arrived from Springville. She told them that she'd received a call from Ruby asking her to pick up two of her daughters while she dealt with a family emergency. Up until this point, the officers were under the impression that it was only Julie at the house, but Pam clarified that her older sister, Abby, was also there. Thankfully, neither she nor Julie appeared to be in physical distress like Russell or Eve. Julie and Abby appeared hesitant to go with DCFS representatives when they arrived, but were safely taken into custody to await the outcome of the investigation. The uncertainty over Abby and Julie's whereabouts had been answered, but so many questions remained.
Well, yeah, like I know it said that they moved out. I'm just surprised that they're not like questioning them or anything. You know what I mean?
First and foremost, the quandary of what could have happened to leave Russell and Eve so frail and traumatized. Kevin returned to the police station with his lawyer for a second interview. The additional details he was about to share were nothing short of astonishing.
Have you found the pen papers?
The pen papers.
So it described all of the visions and trances and everything that Jodi and Ruby went into.
How thick would you say it was?
It was like 3 inches thick or so. And there were hundreds of pages of written documents. It's something Jodi would not want found.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't want to destroy it.
Because we do have Ruby's journal, which is from those dates that you mentioned.
These things are going to be so... The stuff she wrote in the pen paper, she would not write in her journal. The stuff she wrote in the pen papers was not intended to be read.
Why does he keep calling him the pen papers?
By anybody until God would decree them to be written as scripture for the whole world to read.
Okay.
Thank you, Maxon, for the 5
I
minutes.
believe that's what we have.
It wasn't certain whether the documents found by the police were actually Ruby's pen papers or just a journal. Regardless of what they were called, the contents revealed a wealth of heinous secrets. On July 10, 2022, Ruby wrote, "Eve and Russell have been in so much deviant behavior they won't control their bodily functions. I never would have suspected the cold, dead heart Russell has." Ruby echoed these sentiments in one of the phone calls she made from jail.
Adults have a really hard time understanding that children can be full of evil and what that takes to fight it.
According to the journal,
what?
Russell and Eve were locked in closets, made to do physical labor, wall sits, jump on a trampoline, stand out in the rain, and carry heavy boxes up and down the stairs for hours on end. When Eve slipped and fell while carrying the boxes, Ruby accused her of doing so on purpose and then shaved her head as punishment.
What the fuck? Bro, for what? Why?
And this was just brushing the surface of what the children endured.
I've never had a kid quite like Eve, but she does not like to sit and listen. I don't know if that's just her personality and she just needs me to be.
It's almost like children have different personalities and every child's brain is different and every child acts different. It's crazy. Crazy thought.
More strict with her than what was required with some of the other kids, or if she is displaying hyperactivity tendencies. So I'm going to try to figure that out today. I honestly don't know which way it's going to go. She knows that I mean it and I'm going to carry through with it. If she absolutely is not capable, then I'm going to maybe take further measures to figure out if there's hyperactivity tendencies going on, or if she stays and she's really good and she listens, then it probably just means she needs a little bit more of a strict routine with her.
According to Kevin, the fight against so-called evil had not originated with the children. In fact, the downward spiral
I need to delete the subathon message. I keep forgetting.
Had begun more than a year prior under some very strange circumstances.
We went out to like a dinner afterwards, and that's where Jodi really opened up to the women in a private conversation that she believed she was being tormented and haunted by shadow figures every night. And that was spooky.
Ruby also revealed that Russell and Eve still sometimes failed to control their bodily functions. She presented this as a method by which they defied her. Back with Kevin, he alleged.
I'm okay. I shouldn't even ask why. There's literally no rhyme or reason for this shit. It makes no sense.
Alleged that Jodi's experiences had rapidly grown more intense.
She was walking along the beach with Jesus, and Jesus challenged her to go walk on the water.
Bro.
It was a whole lesson on walking on the water.
Bro,
and that was still just the tip of the...
What? She thinks she's fucking Jesus, man?
The iceberg. The more
You think she's got Jesus powers, bro?
Investigators read of Ruby's journal, the more depraved the story became. Tuesday, big day for evil, she wrote on July 11th. All night, Eve screamed and cried and hit her head on the tile floor. Today, Jodi confronted her. Eve admits to putting on a show for her mother. Eve said she wants to be pitiful. When the investigators read on and learned what torment Eve had endured to reach this level of desperation, they likely didn't know whether to be enraged or heartbroken. Jodi mentioned her experiences with what she called the spirit in one of her jail phone calls.
When I feel the spirit, I have two physiological reactions. I get really like shaky, like I'm shivering, like I'm cold, or I feel heat, like I have a fever run through me. It felt like I was burning up. And I was just shaking with gratitude, like, here's your answer. Here's what this is.
Back with Kevin, he revealed that while Jodi's alleged visions had initially seemed positive, things quickly took a much darker turn, and things changed inside the house.
There was a lot of satanic ones. When she would go into possession mode, she would talk in like different voices. It was really creepy. But the voices would say, she's ours, we're not letting go. She is Satan's bride. She's mine. I'm going to marry her. If she was faking it, she believed that Satan wanted her as her bride.
The journal revealed that Eve experienced horrific punishments. What? This is the day Eve anticipates breaking her 2-day fast, Ruby wrote.
Yeah, what kind of drugs these people on, man?
I let Russell know she has hardened her heart and will do one more day of fasting to invite her to humble. Eve flips out.
A day?
And
Another?
ranting.
What do you mean another day? Oh my God.
All day, Eve makes rhymes about my mom starves me and calls it fasting. In his second
Yeah, because that is starving.
interview, Kevin continued his description of what it was like to live with Jodi.
I can't explain some of the stuff that happened while we were there. Like,
I mean, I have heard stories about Mormonism and how like they speak in tongues sometimes, and like they, have like voices and demons and shit come inside. Like they get cum all inside of them from demons.
Crashes in the basement while we were talking upstairs.
I actually remember when I was younger, my little sister had a Mormon friend, and her Mormon friend took her to church, and my little sister came home crying because she was terrified because her friend and like everyone else started like speaking in tongues and like screaming and shit, and she was like utterly terrified. Like she had no clue what to do. Like she's freaking out.
And plates like in the kitchen just flying off by themselves, like full speed, smashing on the wall and falling to the floor. And I don't have any way to explain it other than there's some crazy going on.
On other occasions, Eve was doused with water in the dog wash and made to sleep on the basement floor. And it only got worse going forward. Kevin, too, said that back in 2021, the situation with Jodi took a similar downward trajectory as she became increasingly entwined with his family.
But it reached the point where in August, her bishop at the time, he's not her bishop anymore, but I mean, he was going over there every night, and he'd be there for like 4 hours. And he'd be like, I'm fighting evil spirits. I'm casting demons out. I'm crazy stuff going on. And finally he got to the point where he's like,
bro, think he's like a fucking anime character or something like that? Yeah, I'm fighting demons and evil spirits, bro.
I can't do this anymore. Like, there needs to be some sort of resolution.
After the bishop left, the first attempted fix was for Jodi to move in with another family involved with connections. The opinions Kevin shared about what happened with that family reflect only his beliefs, and we have not been able to verify them.
According to them, after 6 weeks and trying to seduce the husband of the family, they kicked her out.
While there was no way to prove that Jodi had been held against her will, the police knew for a fact that Russell and Eve had been. Ruby documented one particularly horrific confrontation between Russell and Jodi, whom she refers to frequently as G-Jo. G-Jo takes Russell on a little walk to the pool, Ruby wrote. She talks on how Russell has love twisted. G-Jo then pushed Russell into the pool. Meanwhile, Kevin recounted the events after Jodi either escaped or was kicked out of the other family's home.
It was at that point that they said, why don't you take her up to your house? And I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want this in my house. But I was beaten over the head with it. Like, that's really insensitive. She's done so much to help our family, and you're being selfish, and she has needs, and come on, like, it won't be for long. And so I relented, and I was like, okay.
Famous last words.
Later in his second interview, Kevin told the police about the drastic changes that took place in the Frankie house after Jodi moved in.
The moment she showed up in my house, just the weirdest crap started happening. Lights turning on and off, sounds of people walking in walls, and like sounds like footprints going up walls and across the ceiling, and stuff floating around. And I became the
chat. Actual spoiler alert. Twist. It's all real. Demons are there, and they're actually like demon killers, and they're actually fighting off the demons from the children. Plot twist.
Resident exorcist. That was the title I came up with myself. I thought it was kind of funny. Whenever she started to go into a trance and go into possession, which started to be a lot. And Ruby would go up and check on her. It started like every 4 hours at night, and then it moved every 2 hours at night, then it moved every hour at night, and then at some point Ruby said, you know what, I'm just going to start sleeping in there. And if I need you, I'll come down and get you.
Kevin said that Ruby and Jodi began sleeping in the same bed. However, this was only the beginning.
I don't know. That seems a little bit weird to me. Something weird's going on. Something weird going on. Gay?
And soon, Kevin noticed that he was being subjected to unique restrictions.
I could leave when I wanted, but I couldn't come back until Ruby gave me permission. I couldn't come into the kitchen to eat until Ruby gave me permission. And the upstairs where Jodi roamed.
Dude, where Jodi roamed. It sounds like a fucking like monster. We never go up the stairs because that's where Jodi roams. We don't want to run into Jodi. She roams around those parts.
Was completely off limits. Ruby would dictate all of the terms of how our interactions would be when we would talk. No matter what I did, no matter how much I tried to track better.
You ever think about saying, "Hey, bitch, get out of my house"? You ever think about that? You ever think about saying, "Hey, I own this house. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You shut the fuck up." Like, I'm sorry. If there was a random person, like if it came into my house and started telling me when I can and cannot do things, I'd be like, "Excuse me, bitch? Excuse me?" Jodi got them scary eyes. She really does.
Or be, truthful and not be selfish. Every week it was like, you're being manipulative, you're being selfish, you're lying, you're hiding something, you're still hiding stuff. And I really started to question my sanity, honestly. It became more and more and more and more and more isolated. Jodi had...
Okay, it's like the gradual manipulation and brainwashing that she was trying to do. I don't know. I feel like there's certain people who are more prone to brainwashing and getting manipulated like this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If it was me in this situation, the moment she started putting up walls and saying, "You can do this, but you can't do this," I 1000% would have just shut it down. Been like, "This is my house. You don't tell me what to do." You know what I mean? But I feel like just certain people just don't have the pushback. You know what I mean? Where they just let it happen and then they just gradually get brainwashed.
I had an approved list of men that I can make phone calls to.
This appeared to be a method Ruby repeated with Russell at Jodi's house. Ruby recounted in the journal how she woke one night to find Russell missing and a note written in pebbles on the balcony which read, "Jail. I will call when I get there." Panicked, Ruby said she and Jodi searched the house, then got in their cars and began driving around looking for Russell, which Ruby described as racing the devil. They brought him home. Disturbingly, she went on to describe the concession of letting Russell sleep in a bed and feeding him a full meal the next day as like stitching up a patient knowing you didn't get all the cancer out.
What?
Okay, look at me. Don't say hell anymore.
You just said it.
Yeah, so I'm very clear what I'm talking about. Don't say that.
Dude, genuinely, why is hell a bad word, though? Unironically, what hell, how is that a bad word? In any context, what's bad about it? Even in religion, what's bad about it? It's a place, right? It's in the Bible. I've never understood the people placing hell in the curse word category. It's not. It's how you use it. No, it's not. No, it's not. It doesn't matter. If my son straight up, if my son said, "What the hell?" I wouldn't give a shit. It's you know what I mean? It's so stupid. It's not, there's nothing bad about the word except, it's also the place where people burn for all eternity because your all-loving God decided that, "Oh yeah, I love you guys so much that you're going to burn in hell for all eternity." You know what I mean?
That again. Do you understand? Because next time you won't be smiling on your face.
Kevin explained that the situation never improved as everyone tried to appease Jodi and Ruby.
So I was completely cut off.
Dude, honestly, I feel like frick is a worse word than hell because it's dangerously close to fuck. You know what I mean? It's like the diet version of fuck. I would prefer people saying, like a child saying hell to me than frick. I mean, I don't really care about freak either. I mean, hell, I genuinely don't care about cuss words at all. I just tell my son, don't say them around people. Call me a bad parent or whatever. I don't give a shit about cuss words. Cuss words are stupid. As long as you know when and where you're allowed to say them, but what the fuck's wrong with them?
If I went to my church leaders, I was seeking enablement. If I went to my family, I was seeking enablement. If I went to anybody, I was seeking enablement. I felt trapped.
Yeah, I heard that part that said, if the kid says it again, you won't be smiling. Yeah, I heard that. That's fucked up.
That's where I was all the way up until the last week of July when Jodi called me one day out of the blue and just said, "I don't understand why you're not getting it.
While everything the police had learned so far was certainly horrific, they would soon realize that it almost got unimaginably worse for the children. Based on the journal entries, the authors believed that the children's bodies needed to be engaged in painful good work as punishment. Just as Ruby and Jodi set out to look for rural land in Arizona for the Franke children to work, Ruby got a text. "I found the land." As the move to Arizona loomed dangerously closer, it became obvious that the women wanted the pair to choose punishment over respite. In an emotional phone call made from her jail cell, Jodi had this to say on the topic.
Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth because these kids, I told Doug, I woke up, the spirit told me, it's all the devil. I mean, you've seen him. And he uses these kids, and he uses all of us as the adults, the parents that don't hold the kids accountable. So now
that don't hold the kids accountable. So these children are just demons, horrible, controlled by the devil, puppeteered by the devil.
It's abusive to make a kid sleep on the floor. It's abusive, or it's abuse.
Yes, it is. What are you fucking talking about? Yes, that you just described that is pure abuse. What are you fucking talking about? Man, back in my day, I used to be able to beat the shit out of kids and nothing would matter. It wouldn't matter. You could beat the shit out of kids back then. Why can't I do it now?
That's ridiculous. You can't even raise your kids anymore.
Oh my fucking God, dude. You sound like she sounds exactly like what I expected her to sound like. God, you can't even parent your children anymore. What, I can't smack my kid in the face whenever they do something wrong? I can't hit my own kid? What the fuck am I how am I supposed to raise my child if I can't beat him up? Huh? If I can't physically harm my child, what the fuck do I do? I don't get it.
This was the sort of stance Jodi put forth through her program.
Yeah, I know, and they aren't even her kids either. That's the fucking crazy part. I almost forget about that here and there because Jodi's like controlling everything. That she's not even the fucking parent, dude.
Actions. At its peak, her Instagram had over 10,000 followers, leaving the police to wonder just how many other children might have suffered the ramifications of her influence.
What am I supposed to do? Have a conversation with my child so the child can be open with me and talk to the child like another person or a human? Gross. I'd rather smack them in the back of the head,
Later, in the midst of the investigation, Kevin continued his story of his...
1 second. Thank you for 100 bits, Plemkey. I think Pig would love the show or comic book called Preacher. It's written by a staunch atheist named Garth Ennis, and God in it is the main antagonist as an evil, vengeful egomaniac. Sounds epic. You scared us, Pig? Boo.
Family's breakdown.
So that separation continued all the way up until the holidays, maybe. And then Ruby ended that separation. Jodi went home the second week of January. But by that time, Ruby, Pam, and Jodi were completely determined to do this work that they felt God had for them. I thought it was crazy. I thought it was just that crazy.
When talking with Kevin, the police learned just how far Ruby was willing to go to pursue her work with Jodi.
She wanted to legally, work with Jodi's attorney to give Jodi 8 passengers and become an employee of Connections. Basically, the contract was Ruby gives Jodi everything and Ruby gets nothing in return.
What the
Our YouTube manager at the time was like, red flags. I don't know how to tell you. She is scamming you. Ruby fired him.
The only voice of reason. She's like, nah, you're fired. You're fired. Don't do it. It's a scam. Fired.
During this issue of Ruby and Jodi's business entanglement, Ruby made some interesting claims in one of her calls from jail. In fact, she seemed to be changing her attitude towards Jodi entirely.
Jodi Hildebrandt never was my business partner, nor was I ever her employee. I never received wages from Connections or
Jodi. Are they going to start throwing each other under the bus?
In 2019, I hired her as a counselor for my son, and then in 2020, I paid her to be my mentor. She's a whirlpool. She just pulls you.
Regardless of any legal business arrangements, finances became an increasingly central component of the travesty that befell the Franke children. This became clear when police continued reading Ruby's journal and gained further insight into the disturbing reasons she and Jodi were looking into moving to Arizona. "Jodi and I took Eve out into the desert," Ruby wrote. She went out into the heat, barefoot.
Oh.
Eve still tried to run. She screamed for another family, water, food, care, love. Oh, Eve, a manipulative ploy.
What the fuck? That is so fucking sad, dude. Oh my God. Oh, that is so sad.
Ruby's journal entry about taking Eve to the desert became even more heartbreaking. Apparently, it was only after Eve collapsed on the road exhausted that Ruby took her home. But not for long. The very next day, Ruby, Russell, Eve, and Julie all returned to the desert. For the next 3 days, the children were made to weed and tidy a cemetery on a nearby Native American reservation. They were not allowed to wear shoes or gloves, despite the fact that there was broken glass and thorns everywhere. At one point, Russell became so desperate to escape the heat that he stuck his head in the toilet. Footage of this suffering
What the fuck?
was captured by a local who explained in no uncertain terms to Ruby that she was not welcome there and that she would be filing a police report. This, Ruby wrote in her journal.
I don't get it. If there's video footage of this and cops get called, why was nothing done like right now? Like boom, right there.
Was a sign that the devil does not want us to take Russell and Eve out of society. Apparently, relocating to Arizona was their chosen method of avoiding further unwanted attention. One has to wonder how long the plan to get to Arizona was in process, though, based on an interaction Kevin mentioned happened before the separation.
Ruby started threatening me with another separation. And just like, this isn't about money, this is about
What do you mean another separation? What?
doing God's work. So we continued in that dynamic for the next 6 or 7 months until she went.
Okay, so the dad knew all of this was going on and was around for all of this. Okay.
Went on a trip with Jodi and Pam down to Arizona. And I think they, like, when I read her journal, she went into Mexico or something and bought drugs or something, like prescription drugs for the emergency kits. And when she came back from that trip, before she even brought the bags into the house, she pulled me in and said, I want to talk with you. And that's when she asked me to leave.
And so Kevin left and got an apartment in Springsville. At some subsequent point, Ruby also left the family home for the house in Ivans to live with Jodi, where the lives of her children would become a living nightmare. Back with Kevin, he said that when Ruby initiated contact again, he had no idea the sinister plan she had in store for their children.
Around that time, things with Ruby started, like, picking up. And I didn't understand why, but, like, Ruby wanted to meet in a parking lot and wanted me to sign over. 2 of our cars wanted me to sign them over to her name. I'm in total compliance mode at this point. Just like, I'm a good husband, you see, you can trust me.
Ruby's comments on the journal.
Oh my God. This guy's a goddamn beta. I said it. This guy's a beta.
Somehow managed to become even more disturbing. She wrote, "This girl would choose to be shot and die than to humble." Even that wasn't the most disturbing part, though, because after locking Eve in the closet overnight, they decided to treat her injuries from the cactus. Ruby said, "The spirit was very strong as Julie and I witnessed Jodi cleaning what did not deserve to be cleaned."
Not deserve?
Kevin continued his story, discussing the moment he found that his family had disappeared to live in Ivans, leaving their own house empty.
But when I returned to the house, everything was packed up, and a neighbor came over and said she asked for the HOA rules and mentioned to him that she wanted to rent the house out, which I was like, are you kidding me? And she wanted to sell the house, but couldn't because my name is on the mortgage.
In another jail call, Ruby revealed that,
Bro, this is your house. You own this shit, man. Why, dude? God damn it. Like, take charge. Do something. Oh my God. Like, you're so fucking useless. God damn it. It's pissing me off how he's literally just doing nothing. Fucking do something, man. Grow some balls. Holy shit.
the Arizona scheme had gotten further along than anyone yet knew. One shudders to think what could have happened.
If I've ever found the perfect person to use the word beta cuck unironically, it would be this guy. I've never used the term beta cuck unironically, but this is probably the only time I will ever use it. Like, holy fuck, dude.
Happened if Russell hadn't escaped before the move.
I pulled the money and I have it in a bag.
With you? Do the police have it?
Well, I don't know what the police took.
But the bag was at Jodi's house?
They can't just take people's money. I mean, that's not right.
In a stunning twist, the person on the other end of the phone was none other than Kevin himself. In the days following Ruby's arrest, the pair made several phone calls where Kevin tried to ensure he received custody of the children and secured the money that Ruby had pulled out.
No.
Kevin's demeanor towards Ruby in these calls might be unexpected.
I am committed to our family.
No, god damn it, why?
I'm committed to you and our marriage.
No!
No matter what happens, I will
She fucking abused the shit out of your children!
be here to support you in any way that I can.
Well, thank you for stepping up.
During this call, Kevin and Ruby agreed to limit their...
That's her fucking response? That's her response? Thank you for stepping up? Oh, God. Oh, I hate all these people so goddamn much, dude. Oh, my God.
Contact going forward to strengthen Kevin's chances of gaining legal custody of the children. A discovery made the next day, though, blew that out of the water.
Thank God.
The bag's gone.
What?
The bag is gone.
What?
What bag?
What?
There's no bag.
The only thing more shocking than the bag's disappearance was where Ruby had gotten the funds in the first place. Kevin and his lawyer revealed the
The bag of money? That's hilarious. They got the bag yoinked.
source of the missing $85,000 while speaking with police.
The bag got
That
yoinked.
money, she cleaned out their bank accounts.
The kids' savings account.
Yeah, and yours too, your joint account.
Yeah.
That's where that money came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can have, or if I need to have a discussion with the county attorney. Kevin would kind of like his kids' money back.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably the first time she actually showed emotion throughout this entire thing.
Unfortunately, tracking
bag of demons, yeah.
down the money and attempting to return it to the children would likely become a separate civil case. While Ruby didn't comment on this directly while in jail, she had more thoughts to share the longer she was behind bars.
The devil is so sly.
You're the devil!
And I'm embarrassed it took such a huge slap in the face to wake up to it.
On another call with her parents, Ruby proofread a court statement she wrote to address her children and acknowledge her actions.
I would do anything in this world for you. My willingness to sacrifice all for you was masterfully manipulated into something very ugly.
Oh my God, she's playing the fucking victim. I actually am an amazing mom. Everyone else just manipulated me into looking bad.
I took from you all that was safe and soft and good. I took from you your mother. How terrifying this must have been for you. I will never, ever stop crying for hurting your tender souls.
Shut the fuck up.
You are such a very precious part of me. I'm so very sorry.
But no apology in the world could begin to undo the horrible trauma experienced by the Frankie children. In contrast to Ruby's attempt to make amends, Jodi's response was the same as it was at the beginning of the investigation.
The Lord says that first they'll lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons.
Remember, chat, Jodi is Jesus.
And the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death.
That's in the fucking... Is that in the fucking Bible? Bro, who reads this shit? Is that a Bible verse? Like, what?
That statement right there is what's going on with me. The children shall rise up and put their parents to death, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
The fuck are you yapping about?
Ultimately, Ruby and Jodi were charged with 6 felony counts of child abuse and neglect each. Rather than go to trial,
Pretty sure she's twisting it. You mean like every Bible verse ever? Dude, when I went to church when I was younger, they took one sentence, or whatever you fucking call it in church, in Bible terms, one sentence, and made a 2-hour fucking sermon about one, there you go, verse. One verse. Spent 2 fucking hours yapping about one fucking verse. Bro, I think that was probably the moment where I was like, yo, this is fucking stupid, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's fucking stupid, bro.
Ruby and Jodi pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child abuse. Though their cases were adjudicated separately, they received the same sentences. On each count, Jodi and Ruby were sentenced to serve between 1 and 15 years in prison. The sentences were to be consecutive, meaning both women could be behind bars for up to 60 years, which could be the rest of their lives. Kevin continues to lobby for custody of his children, who were taken by DCFS and placed in foster care.
Good.
The Frankie's oldest daughter, Sherry, is writing a book about her upbringing and has requested the public respect the privacy of her younger siblings as they attempt to recover. While their current status is unknown, we can only hope that the Frankie children are at long last experiencing the kindness and gentleness that they deserve.
Dude, I think anything, like literally just anything, will be better than what they dealt with. My God. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in there that I did not hear of or see before. That's fucking terrible.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.